right, so let's get started. In this session, like I said, we'll be discussing diabetes, but before we begin, let's notice a key positive word that we see on the screen. And what is that word? Hope. That's right. There's hope. When it comes to diabetes, there's bad news, but there's also good news. And the bad news is that diabetes is a stealth disease. It's slow, silent killer, and it has reached epidemic proportions, as we'll see. The good news is that positive lifestyle choices can prevent or reverse diabetes and have a dramatic effect on the symptoms and the progression of the disease. So there is hope. So what is diabetes? Diabetes mellitus is a group of diseases characterized by high blood sugar caused by following things that you see on the screen: no insulin production, insufficient insulin production, and resistance to insulin's effects. Wes Youngberg wrote a book which is excellent. It's called Goodbye Diabetes. And he describes diabetes as having blood sugar levels so high for such a long period of time that they eventually cause significant health complications if not corrected. So what are the main types of diabetes? Well, there's two types, as you all know. The first one is an autoimmune disease where the pancreatic cells that produce insulin are damaged, causing a person to become insulin dependent. Interestingly, only 5 to 10% of people with diabetes have this type. My second cousin has this type. She was born with it. But not very many people have it. Type 2 diabetes is the most common form of diabetes. In this type, the body becomes resistant to insulin, requiring the body to need more than normal amounts so that the blood sugar can be controlled. Now, who can tell me what insulin is? Who knows? Whoever can tell me gets this DVD. You can't Google it. Who can tell me what insulin is? Anyone know?
High octane.
Well, I don't know.
Pancreas juice.
That's right. It's a hormone. Who said that?
I did.
Oh, good job.
That's not fair because I'm a nurse practitioner, so I'm not going to take that.
Well, I think it's fair, but we'll talk later. Okay, it's a hormone, and yes, it unlocks cells to receive glucose, which is the body's major fuel source. So it's kind of like the key that unlocks our cells. So let's look at some statistics from the Center of Disease Control in America. These are pretty sobering. 30 million Americans are diabetic. 90 million are pre-diabetic. That's almost a third of the population in the United States. That's a lot. 90 to 95% of adults have type 2 diabetes. So it's tempting for some people to think, I'm overweight, I don't exercise, I have high blood sugar, there's no hope for me. Well, that's not true. Lifestyle changes can significantly reduce the risk of developing diabetes. That's the exciting part. And if you already have full-blown diabetes, changing your lifestyle can make a huge difference, and it can reverse it too. My grandma, for 15 years, she had full-blown diabetes. It was bad. And she lived alone in Pennsylvania, and I remember I was working at a lifestyle center back in 2008, and I said, Grandma, you should come to this place, and they'll change your lifestyle, and maybe you can reverse your diabetes. And so she came, and they reversed her diabetes in 18 days. In 18 days, her test came back negative for diabetes. She reversed it in 18 days, and she went home and she kept up that lifestyle for a while, and eventually she kind of went back into her old ways, and she went back to becoming more like a pre-diabetic. But then John and I moved her in with us, and then eventually she moved in with my parents, and now it's been a good, I think, 3 years that she reversed her diabetes again. She's been diabetic free for the past couple years. And that's just through diet changes, exercise, but I mean, the exercise my grandma does is just like walking, It's nothing extraordinary, just simple walking. And she's had great success with this, so there's hope. So there are these are some of the major modifiable, that's the key word, modifiable risks for type 2 diabetes. Being overweight, having midsection fat, sedentary lifestyle, unhealthy diet. This is in the book Goodbye Diabetes by Dr. Youngberg. And these are all modifiable. The other thing is high blood pressure, high triglycerides, abnormal cholesterol levels, and of course smoking increases the risk. So these are all some things to consider. Diabetes is linked to also a greater risk of other kinds of complications or diseases, so you have to look at the big picture. Heart disease is one, stroke, kidney failure, blindness, amputation. I've met many people who have had to have limbs amputated from diabetes. Dementia is another one. One expert explained it this way: unless something is done to prevent it, diabetes will result in 35 million heart attacks, 13 million strokes, 6 million episodes of kidney failure, 8 million instances of blindness, 2 million amputations, and 62 million deaths, for a total of 121 million serious diabetes-related adverse events in the next 30 years. So that's a lot of people that are suffering that potentially could do something to help the situation. And that was from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics by Robert Reza. So all individuals with diabetes should have a thorough medical examination to find out if there's, to assess possible undiagnosed complications. So 2 of the most powerful steps that you can take towards preventing and treating diabetes are 2 things. Can you tell me what they are? Exercise. You're close if you say diet, and it's pretty much right, but specifically having a high fiber diet. I think it tells you that on screen too. A high fiber diet. This is key. So a lot of people say, oh, I just need to cut down on sugar or something. Well, fiber is the key. Believe it or not, diabetes and pre-diabetics have, or diabetes and pre-diabetes have a dietary face. So we're going to look at that tonight. The face of diabetes is saturated animal fats, fried foods, sweets and refined grains, and sugary drinks. So the dietary face of diabetes is consuming a diet low in fiber, but rich in high-fat dairy products, meat, fried foods, sweet white flour products, sugary drinks. You could call this, I told this to John today and we were laughing about it, but it's true. You could call it the chips, chops, and lollipops lifestyle. Well, that's pretty much what it is. But there is hope for better health, so let's look at it. The face of prevention and recovery is nutrition. So, beans, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. These are a powerful intervention for diabetes. And eating beans for at least 1 meal a day, and if you're really diabetic and you really want to see a change, try it for every meal. You think I'm crazy, but it's true. If you go online and Google highest sources of fiber, there's 2 things that will come up. I did it today. The top 2 things. Can anyone tell me what the top 2 sources of fiber are? Beans, and nuts is a big one, and legumes, like lentils. Hence, I gave you some lentil soup recipes. So those are 2 of the big ones. They provide good plant-based protein. They're inexpensive, and they have 10 to 15 grams of fiber per serving. That's a lot. That's like a small handful. We usually eat like 2, maybe 3 servings. So also the next thing is be sure that your grains are whole grains. Brown rice has more than twice the fiber as white rice and 6 times as much magnesium. Enjoy old-fashioned or steel-cut oats instead of quick oats. And there was a group of people who volunteered to have their blood sugar tested after breakfast. And those who ate whole grains were 46%, their blood sugar levels were 46% lower than those who ate refined grains. Well, that's quite substantial. That's from the 9 Ways to Prevent Diabetes by Dr. Hall. The next thing is high fiber vegetables. Here's another winner when it comes to blood sugar control. We can't forget about those. Look for bright colors, leafy greens, and the crunch factor. Colorful berries and greens. This colorful food group contains all of the trace minerals. Can you believe that? and potassium, which is critical for healthy blood pressure. It also contains powerful antioxidants and inflammatory agents to help with digestion and help control weight loss and blood sugar. Omega-3s like walnuts and flax seeds. Walnuts contain heart-healthy omega-3s, and so does flax and chia and hemp seeds. You can buy all those at Costco for a good price. And it's healthy to include raw nuts in your diet every day. Sprinkle them on your salad, whatever you can do. Good fats. Olives, avocados, and olive oil contain flavorful and healthy monosaturated fats. They're a good source of fiber and protein. Nuts and seeds are. And almonds, for example, have 3.5 grams of fiber per serving. Sunflower seeds have almost 4. So there's quite a bit. So what's the bottom line? Who can read it to me? Eat food, not too much, mostly plants. It's that simple. It really helps. When it comes to plant foods, more is better. So regular exercise is a key component for improving fitness. And I think what we will do, since we are running out of time here, is next time we get together, I'm going to talk about exercise and diabetes and the role that it can play, because there's some astounding information that talks about how it affects the glucose getting into our cells, or the insulin getting into our cells and allowing the glucose in. So we're going to go through that at another time. But this is just fascinating. How many of you know someone that has diabetes? I think every single hand just went up. We all know someone that has diabetes, and I want to tell you right now that I know for certain that it's one disease that we do not have to put up with. We don't. It may not be a cinch to get rid of it overnight. Maybe you'll want to have someone help you, but it's possible. There is hope, and it's something that can be controlled or even eliminated. All right, so thank you all for listening, and I want to leave you with the verse in Philippians 4:13. It says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And we looked at nutrition, and next time we get together, we'll look at exercise and diabetes. Thank you for listening.